Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a new makeup try on. I did purchase a couple of new items that I wanted to try on my face today, including the very anticipated Subculture palette. I held out for as long as I could to just get as much knowledge on this palette before making a very thought out decision on this. I think I did a pretty good job about not buying it right away and not just going gung-ho about it, so I'm kind of glad I waited on purchasing this palette. But I also purchased a couple of new items to my collection that I've never tried before, so if you guys want to see all the makeup that I tried on that was new and my thoughts on the Subculture palette, then just keep on watching. Okay, so the first two items I want to start off with is, of course, my Brow Stylist Definer. I don't have no eyebrows on, but I also saw this. It's part of the Brow Stylist line, and it is called the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill, and it kind of reminds me of, you know, everything that's going around the brow definer from ABH and the goof proof from Benefit. So I wanted to try this out, and I like to use the shade Dark Brunette. I think it goes really well with my color and my hair that I have going on right now, so I'm just gonna quickly, I say quickly, but we're gonna be here for like 10 minutes, but quickly do my eyebrows. And I am just going to use the Brow Stylist Definer to kind of just draw the shape of it, and then I will have the shape and fill it in. So that's my shape coming through, and I'm using Dark Brunette and the shape and fill as well. Okay, so this is definitely more waxier than the pencil, and that's okay because I think my goof proof is really waxy as well, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to finish up this eye, and then we will get to what everybody's been dying for, the eye makeup. You can see that I primed my eyes after I did my brows, and I gave it a fair shot. I'm using my Evelyn Inona, and then I set it with the RCMA No Color Powder. It's just what I do all the time. We're going to be using the Subculture palette. When I saw this finally got released, I was so excited to have it. I actually just recently purchased this off of the Ulta website. I did not buy it when it first launched. This is what the palette looks like. It has that same soft velvety touch to it. It says Subculture on it, and I've already kind of swatched into this a little bit. I did it on Snapchat, but I just love the colors in this palette. Like, this is not typically a palette that I would go for, just because it has so many different like cool tones in here. And so this is the Subculture palette, and just for point of reference, I do have the Modern Renaissance palette, and this is what mine looks like, and you can tell that it's more warm tone and kind of more up my alley, something more that I'm comfortable with. But I just really love the arrangement of colors in this palette. Now, I will say that there were so many reviews about how this palette just basically sucked. And a lot of people that I have found, and maybe I don't follow them on all of their platforms of social media, but I have found that the people who really love this palette have been posting and reposting pictures on like Twitter and Instagram. The people who really hate this palette have been voicing their opinion on like their YouTubes and stuff like that, which is fine. Everybody can like and hate a palette. I ultimately got this palette because I felt like I watched enough reviews on pros and cons to see whether or not I really wanted to buy it. And honestly, the two best reviews that I saw, which I felt were informative and, you know, educational, were Samantha Ravindal and Stephanie Nicole, and I will link their reviews on this palette down below. And like I said, I feel like those were the most informative videos that I saw to how to use this. And unfortunately, both did say that this palette is not beginner friendly, and I'm not going to say that I'm like the greatest at eyeshadow. I mean, I can apply eyeshadow and I think I can execute a makeup look that feels comfortable on me pretty well, so we're just gonna put it to the test now that I've been rambling forever. So I did do a little test of Roxy, the one that had the most fallout, and then I also did New Wave. And then I swatched these two as well on my Snapchat, and I do not think that Electric and Adorn feel as wet as people say that they are. It's just a different formula. It just has a different texture to it that I think a lot of people are not used to. On a fluffy brush, I'm just going to use this one right here. I'm not going to use the one that's provided in the palette. And I really don't know what kind of look I want to go for. I think I'm going to start with Dawn, which is this shade right here. And I'm going to tap into it very lightly, and it is going to have Kick Up, which the Modern Renaissance palette has Kick Up as well, so that's just something that you have to get used to, or not get used to, but understand when you're dipping into your palette, because I do use my palettes differently depending on what brand I'm using. So that one was not as bad. So I just picked it up a little bit, and I am just going to put this in my crease. And I have been told I'm a little bit harder when I apply makeup, especially on other people. I don't think I do, but other people tell me that I do. So I'm working very lightly right now. I don't think Dawn is as bad as everybody is making it seem out to be, but I think it's laying a really nice base for my eyes. Okay, so the next shade I want to go into, I think I'm going to go ahead and just dip into the shade Fudge right here, which I thought ABH already had a shade named Fudge, so I don't know why this one would be any different than the Fudge that they already have in the single shadow. Okay, so I think Fudge looks really nice. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of pigment stuck like right here, but that's where I placed my brush to begin with, and so that's the area that I was working with, and I wanted it to be darker right there. I'm not really seeing any issues with it like skipping or anything like that, so I think so far Dawn and Fudge are thumbs up. The next shade, I think I want to go into this shade right here, Destiny. It's like this olive green color. I think I'm going to use Destiny, and then maybe just use Adorn kind of like in the inner corner and see how that looks. I think I'm going to use the same brush because I think I like the way that this brush applied it. And this is a Morphe M505. If you were curious, it's just a small little, it's a little bit dense, but it's not too dense, but it's a small fluffy dome brush. So yeah, I'm going to just apply Destiny probably more right here and hope that I can blend it into Fudge. And I don't really know, I haven't swatched this one, so I don't really know how this one will apply, so I'm just going to slowly work at this one. Okay, so I didn't realize my camera shut off, but basically what I did was I took Adorn on a flat shader brush as well as my fingers, and I basically put it on the inner corner of my eye and kind of into the first third. I kind of wanted to give it like this gold leaf kind of feel to it because that's what I was feeling with this green. And honestly, I didn't have really any issues with the green. I just had to work a little bit slower than I normally would with eyeshadows. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with the green. There wasn't really any skipping. I was using my Morphe Dome brush to lay it down at first. But then I decided that I wanted to use this Scone large shadow brush. It has this paddle tip to it and it's very wide. So I dipped in there a couple of times and I just packed on the eyeshadow and it worked beautifully. So Destiny, Fudge, and Dawn are all good in my book so far. Adorn was a little bit difficult to work with because it didn't come out the way that I wanted it to. It wouldn't really pick up on my brush as well as I thought it was going to, and I had to use some primer water, but I feel like that didn't even help it. So I was really having to like pack it onto my finger and work it into my corner, which I think this eye is not as nice. So yeah, I don't think, at least my Adorn, it's not wet like everybody is saying that it is. Mine is actually pretty dry, so I don't know if that's a pro or a con. Quickly put on some of my face makeup and then we'll be right back. Okay, so obviously I have my complexion on. I did do a little bit of bronzing and contouring and nothing fancy, no new products there, but I just wanted to rave for just a second. This Lottie London Winged Woman eyeliner, it's a felt tip liner, so this one is so for you. I have not felt this good about winged eyeliner in a long time, so I just need to brag a little bit that they're even, they're beautiful, they look good, I feel good, this palette's working for me right now, so everything is working in my favor, fingers crossed. But I really like it. Casey Holmes was raving about it, so she is probably one of the very few influencers that I still really kind of watch her videos regularly, and she kept saying that she really loved this eyeliner. I think it was only $6.99 at Ulta, and I love it. I don't want to say it works better than the Kat Von D, but the Kat Von D hasn't made me feel like this in a really long time. So I'm really digging this eyeliner 100%. So before I move on to the rest of my face, I wanted to go ahead and do my lower lash line before I forgot about it and then never got to it. So I am giving it a fair shot. I'm using my all-time favorite duo brush. It's from Crown. It's the C476 crease shadow brush. It has a flat side and it has a pointed pencil side, and I'm just gonna go into the shade Fudge right here, and I'm pretty much just gonna lay down Fudge and then try to put Destiny right on top of it. So I'm gonna put Fudge as close as I can to my lash line. Then I'm gonna pick up the Destiny shade, just one little tap, plenty of pigment right there right off the bat. And I'm hoping this doesn't look too muddy. It might, but we'll see. All right, so that's really dark. Really dark. I guess I was going for this super dark look. And as always, I'm going to use brown on my lower lash line. And, you know, I kind of want to highlight just a little bit. I'm using my Luxie 213 shader brush, and I'm going to get into Cube, and I'm just going to see if Cube can work right in there, which I can see it. It's getting in there. Cube reminds me a lot of ColourPop's Super Shock Highlight in Monster. It kind of has that same pink iridescent shift, so I don't know how much it's really going to highlight this inner corner right here. Okay, so a couple of new items. I picked up the MAC blush in Warm Soul. So this is what it looks like. It has I would say it's kind of like a deep cool tone pink. Not too warm, not too cool tone, but there is also a sheen to it. So I wanted to try this out. Oh, Fallout. So I wanted to try this blush out just to see. I didn't want anything too overwhelming because of my eye look. I think that looks really nice. It does have like a nice little sheen to it. It's kind of like a, I wouldn't say peachy, but it does have a lot of peach tones in it. I also picked up the new Wet n Wild Mega Highlighting Bar Moonlit Glow. That's what it's called. It's this one right here. It's part of their Mermaid collection. And in some lights it looks yellow, in some lights it looks green, some lights it reflects pink, so I wanted to try this out, obviously. So on me it's reflecting yellow-green. It's really not picking up that much. It's there. It's definitely there. It's not blinding like right off the bat, but it's definitely there. I wonder if I could intensify it. I'm just gonna go into my fan brush. I'm gonna give it a couple little swipes, just like that. Knock it off, and I'm gonna try, boom. Let's see if getting the brush wet will, oh yeah, it definitely intensified it big time. And now it looks like I have a green spot on my cheek. So, just make it even on both sides here. Yeah. So now it looks wet, but now it also, you can see the green hint in it. I don't know if I like that. I'm just gonna get a flat brush and hopefully buff that out as much as I can. Last but not least is lips, and because I have a bold eye, I think I am gonna go ahead and just do a bold lip because I don't care. This is also new to me. This is the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in the shade BAWSE. This is the Lily Singh collaboration with Smashbox. And I love cool tone reds. I think they're just gorgeous, and they're my favorite to wear, and they're the most noticeable. So I'm just gonna wear it, and who cares? Okay, now I'm just gonna give my face a little spritzy spritz. Final thoughts on the Subculture palette. I like what I've used so far. I mean, I can see Cube right now just staring into my mirror. So it's not like it's not picking up in real life, because it is. I can definitely see it. Honestly, the shades that I did use out of this palette worked really nicely for me. Did work very slow with them, and I was very careful with them, so of course that also has a lot to do with it as well. I also noticed that when I tried just to add on a little bit of the Destiny after the fact and the shadows had already been sitting on my eyes, it did do something weird. I don't know if it was like because it was fresh, so it hadn't really, I guess, oxidized in a sense, but I mean, I did pack on a little bit more on the center of my lids just to kind of help blend the gold just a little bit more, and it did do something weird, but not to the point where I'm like, ugh, gotta throw this away, or oh my god, I need to return it. I am going to continue to play with it to make sure that I get my money's worth, because if I end up not liking this palette, or if, you know, more than 90% of this palette doesn't work for me, then of course I want to return it and, you know, wait for either the new launch or just something else. Because, you know, you always want to get your money's worth. So I took into consideration all of the knowledge that I learned from Stephanie Nicole as well as Samantha Ravendall, and I just kind of applied it to how I would wear my makeup, and I think it worked out for me today. That might change tomorrow if I decide to use this palette. But all the other new products that I liked, that I got, I really like this shade right here. It's super pretty. I probably won't go heavy-handed on this again, but it looks really nice on my skin without me really intensifying it. And of course, I can't stop talking about this eyeliner. So if you guys like this type of new product try on, then give this video a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below, some new items that you guys love and that you guys want me to try out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, of course, before you leave. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.